I'm essentially finished the second week of the whole winter Munros. The last week or so I've been primarily focused on Glencoe. Glencoe's an interesting one. Glencoe is quite near to where I began the whole thing in Mull, and once I began it was Mull straight onto Cruachan, straight into Bridge of Orchy, so inevitably it means that Glencoe was coming pretty soon after. It's getting dark. I have to admit it does feel a bit grim and brutal going for this. Just that wind constantly on you. In proper true winter conditions, Glencoe is it can be quite avalanche prone. So it's quite infamous for that, and it's just because of the steepness of the mountains. So I was always really aware of not wanting to hit them when conditions were too bad. And to be honest, I've had the complete opposite, where the hills have had almost no snow on them. As we know, it's been really pretty warm for quite a long period now, and the hills are struggling to build snow. Wet and windy, not hanging about. Happy to be up this one though. I thought I would just make use of what's essentially a tactic really. You could do the more objectively dangerous mountains when there's very little snow to make them dangerous in that way. And that's exactly what I did. Just grateful and really happy and to feel the whole body working so well. It feels like all this simmering planning and thought just burst into action, it's exploded into action. The last week I've really been picking up momentum. I mentioned maybe in the last video that I did that it was all a little bit, things going a wee bit wrong there. My ankle just shot out from underneath me and my van is leaking coolant like there's no tomorrow. This last week has just been things starting to go right. Dink phoned asking how the ankle was. I told him, and then he mentioned the coolant system and I said, we're having a shot, and he described it and sort of, yeah, it might be okay, the coolant might be okay, and Dink sort of clarified that. Dad gave the door a kick, the side door, so the side door shuts now. And I think most days I've been sort of cranking out maximum 3,000 metres, 2,900 metres of ascent. Typical days 1,800, 2,000, 2,500 metres of ascent, and that's exactly where I want to be in terms of progress. Number 2, Ben Yunley. Nice. Progress has picked up a lot and everything's just really smoothed out, kind of as I wanted it to. Early on I had a trip down to Lough Erne, so Ben Vorlich, Stucacroin. Same day I went and did to Benachoin, and that was a 30-kilometre day, so again good statistics, good pace, and then I just came straight to Glencoe. Snowing a little bit. It's nice. Excellent. The most notable thing about Glencoe was Hogmanay, which was one day of settled high pressure, sunny weather breaking through what has been and will be weeks of mist, rain, cloud. It remains the only day where I've had really proper views of mountains. It was absolutely stunning, so I took the opportunity to go over Buch Elliott Moor, Etive Beck and Beijing and Bayan. Getting those 3 in a day in one sitting was just flipping awesome. Since then I've been around Benavere, I've been down to Ben Scullers, done up to Skirnahulia, across I've done the Anach Igach Munros. The Anach Igach Munros were an interesting one. I climbed them yesterday and I went up to the first Munro and I thought I would just see how things went, and I was essentially getting blown over, so the pinnacles were out, but I wasn't for letting myself get down on some sort of schedule, so I went back down to the glen, up the road, and then went and did Mael Girach, the second Munro, on its own as well. Holy shit! The rain just cleared! Wow! That's impressive. You turn around and it's like gone, and then the next minute it's just like bang! So in general it's been quite misty, quite wet, but I'm enjoying it. And there's a lot, great momentum getting picked up, and I do hope it continues. The last thing I should mention is that it has been extremely lean in winter conditions. Sometimes it feels much more like autumnal walking than winter walking, and the thing that makes it feel like winter is the fact that daylight shuts down at 4:30 sharp. Hey! There we go, Milchillick! Yes! So interesting times there. If and when the snow comes, it would be interesting to see what happens and how that affects pace. But for now, yeah, just walking onwards, ploughing onwards. I have the Southern Highlands to do. They're coming up next, so I'm working my way down to Loch Lomond and across to Loch Tay, and that should take me into the end of next week.